Hello, myself Kritika, and I'm here to discuss about the linguistic diversity. Linguistic diversity or language diversity tells about the people who spoke it and the people who communicate with each other. So, links are given below according to this. Linguistic diversity and the linguistics terms we need to understand. So, the scientific study of human language and descriptive study aspects of the society on its effects, how language uses and how language shapes particular societies. Small units and sounds when like standing along having no meaning until grouped together to form words. Like now we can talk about the accents pronunciations with the different regions. Variation in the pronunciation is very common among a particular language user of a group. Every person is having a different style of saying or pronouncing a word. Now in North America many different dialects and accents of North American English. So, here are some examples where we can see that some people use different accents and pronunciation according to their region. So, next is which accent dialect is superior? Contrary to the stereotype that most of the people do not believe that there is no scientific evidence of pronunciation is linked in intelligence. So, why do we have to these stereotypes or misguides belief about the various linguistics? Linguistics recognizes all the dialects languages as equally effective meaning. But why? What is happening to the languages and their accompanying cultures around the world? So, these are the two main reasons language matters, accents, and dialects across America. Have you ever wondered which language have easier to learn than others? So, as a mother tongue, our native language is more easier to learn. What languages do you think are the hardest? Languages which have different accent and a normal person will not have that much of comfortable and that much of hold on that language. So for Indian people we can say that French is the most hard language. Language use and status. A language cannot confer a differential advantage for its speakers. This is done by the society or the group that speaks language. English has status in many parts of the world because of the colonization. How does the colonization affect the languages choose of the colonization population? As it is referred to the American people who can speak that language more fluently rather than other people. The native language of a person can have a good hold and have comfortable in speaking that. Sociolinguistic. Examine the sociolinguistic with the context. Kind of like psychology and psychology linguistic collides. Pronunciation differences based on social class, bilingual and bilingual ethnic groups, monolingual, polyglot, credist, developed from two parent language mixing. Share grammatical similarities with parents' languages. That's more common because due to the genes, the languages mixing is natural. Nativisted by children as their primary language due to prolonged and generational exposure arose because of trade and colonialism starting 500 years ago, approximately. Style shift occur based on the social needs, using language differently on the basis of situation and who is involved. How we speak to our boss versus how we speak to our friends, it does matter in routine life. How we would speak to the prime minister versus how we speak to our friends. Yes, here's some thing that we need to notice because at the boss situation we need to be more professional and more logical rather than talking with friends. While talking with friends we can feel comfort and share our feelings and emotions in a comfortable way, not in a professional way. So that's the main reason. So, diglossia, use of two or more dialects of the same language, happens frequently in Europe. Italy, full of dialects, can be hard to understand others from other villages. German, High and Low German, English, UK versus Australia versus North America versus islands. What factors influence speech? Geography, culture, socioeconomic status. Yes, there are some, because due to geographical, in geography that every 1 kilometer, or we can say every 10 kilometer, the accent, the pronunciation, or even the languages change. Culture has its own impact on the language, which can influence a new language or give birth to a new language. Socioeconomic status. While being with a friend or while being with a boss is our economic status where we need to change our languages. Gender, who talk about the bestest. Women tend to speak in style closer to the standard form of the language, use less vernacular, use less profanity, use more emotive charged language. Yeah, some examples are here. That's just so lovely. You look absolutely divine in the dress. Oh my god, that is so cool. Men. Whereas men are tend to use much more slang, while a double negative use harder words to describe feeling or experiences, tend not to be as colorful with their verbal descriptions or explanations, tend solely less to convey the same idea. They also adopt working in the class. Body language. Body language makes a major part in the speech. Women tend to look at each other when speaking, whereas men tend to maintain eye contact, seen as weak or feminine. Women tend to have better posture when in mixed crowd, whereas men will get comfortable and get into relaxed position. Linguistic superiority. We hold higher esteem for the standard of a language, like standard English. We consider some accents to be less or more inferior, thus, the speaker to be less or inferior in the status. Textbook, Greek doctor and his scientist wife buy a house in Athens. His He was from a village and she is from a good family. Discriminated on the base how he spoke, regardless of his status on physician. How we speak defines our collective and where we come from. Deaf culture community. What is a deaf culture? Deaf culture is representative with the Deaf culture is the set of social beliefs, behavior, art, literacy, tradition, history, values, and shared institutions of the communities that are influenced by deafness and which use sign language to the main means of communication. What is a deaf community? Who is involved? A deaf community refers to the people who use signs as a we can say as a fuck. So, what is ASL or sign language? Sign language are the languages that use the visual manual modality to convey meaning. Sign languages are expressed through manual articulation in combined with non-manual elements. What makes them different? Like spatial, multidimensional, facial grammar classifiers. In which category would it belong? It will belong to the second category. Language and politics and deaf community politics and the president now campaigning. In interpreters, linguistic and cultural meditation use qualified interpreters who have passed the qualification standards and completed the entrepreneur education program. Do not use family members, friends, young children, or youth or interpret. Do not rely on untrained workers or employees to interpret. Minimize the use of the telephone, language lines, time when it is absolutely necessary. Knows where to look for the interpreters, reputable agencies, government agencies, and United Way there. So that's all for me. Thank you so much.